Hi guys, Geoffrey here. In this video, I'm going to show you a very key mistake that I see a lot of people making when they find themselves on the brink of a divorce, where they're weeks or even sometimes months out from a divorce. And be sure to stick around to the very end of this video because this is a topic, again, that nobody talks about, but it's such a drastically toxic problem and such a common problem as well that I have to address it. And if you're new to this channel, my name is Geoffrey and I help men in long-term relationships or marriages with the right skills, with the right knowledge to be able to design a thriving relationship for yourself. So if you want more content on this topic, be sure to subscribe to this channel and also click that bell button as well to be notified when I post new videos every single week. Now, before we begin this video, I just want to let you know that the free masterclass on the 5 proven steps to rebuilding your relationship from the ground up is still open. So if you want to join that masterclass, be sure to stick around to the very end of this video for the announcement on how you can join that masterclass. And so if you're watching this video, most of you are probably in a position where your partner has only said she wants a divorce, but she seems to be very dead set on divorce. Because she tells you this. She tells you that she will never change her mind no matter what you do, no matter how much you change. Maybe she says that she's not really interested in seeing any of your changes, that she doesn't care, that whenever you talk about your changes, she just kind of shuts down and says, I don't want to hear it. Maybe it's the fact that she refuses here to talk to you, to discuss anything with you regarding the relationship, regarding any serious stuff, that whenever you try to discuss any serious stuff, she just checks out on you. And sometimes she even tells you to stop trying and tells you basically, hey, don't try for me, try for your next relationship. I don't care about you anymore. I'm done here. And so when you're facing all these things, a lot of people think that their situation is the most dire and the most unique. They think that they're the only one in this universe who is facing a partner saying all these things to them. Because people think their situation is the most unique, the most dire situation, they start to panic. And when they panic, they start to adopt a very bad approach here. And so what is that bad approach? That bad approach usually comes in the form of what I call a fast and external mindset, a fast and external mind. So number one, these people, they're only focused on how to appear like they've changed, like they're different. Because in their head, they're thinking, there must be something I can say or I can do now. There has to be something because I am weeks away from divorce. I am a week, maybe days away from divorce here, and I have to make something happen now. So they need to just say, I just need to appear. I don't care about the inside. There's no time to build the inside. I just want the facade to be trying to convince her. There has to be something I can say or do now. And naturally, they're not really interested in long-term growth. So let's say I give them a process. I show them a process that says, hey, this process is going to take you 3 months to 6 months. This will make you better and this will make your partner believe you in 3 to 6 months. That goes right over their heads usually because they think, again, I'm on the brink of something bad here. 2 weeks, I got 2 weeks. If it's 3 months to 6 months, I'm not even going to consider it. So they're not even interested in the internal change, but they're also not interested in the long-term changes that actually works. But what you need to understand here is all these things that is causing you to rush the process, to focus only on appearing and rushing the process, not looking at the long term, they're all just illusions. Because here's the reality behind what we call this urgency illusion. The perfect set of things to say or do doesn't really exist. Your partner now has a bad confirmation bias about you, a negative confirmation bias about you. And so, like we talked about in previous videos here, you can buy a briefcase right now, stuff that briefcase with $1 million, and she still can think you're doing it because you're an asshole. Again, emotions are not caused by the event itself. It's not like there's a perfect set of things you can say or do, because it's how she interprets the things you say and do that really matters. In fact, anything you do right now to try to trick her into coming back is going to look very manipulative, it's going to look very fake. And it's going to backfire on you. It's going to push her even further away. When people are in this urgency illusion, they stay stuck in this cycle usually, where learning the tactics, trying to find the tactics, trying to find the short-term things to do or say. And when they realize it doesn't work, they find the next thing. Then they realize it doesn't work, the next thing, the next thing. And so they're always trying to find the next thing they can say, the next thing they can do, but they never realize that they're actually chasing a rainbow. They will never find that next thing that is perfect to say. It doesn't exist. It's a unicorn, guys. Because what works or not doesn't really lie in what you do or say, but how she interprets what you do or say. But because her interpretations right now are negative towards you, she's going to interpret everything you do or say as negative regardless of what you do. Now, if we also want to understand how this panic mindset is going to push her away even further, we also have to understand this concept that we call the paradox of change. What is the paradox of change? If you talk to anyone in this world, anyone at all, including yourself, you want a different life. You want to be happier. You want to be richer. You want a different job maybe. You want a different lifestyle maybe. You essentially want to have a different life than what you have today. But the thing about having a different life is that to get that different life, you have to become someone different. You have to talk differently, you have to think differently, to even look differently sometimes. You have to have a different set of paradigms. You have to become a different person. But the problem here is that as soon as you try to become someone different, this is where the paradox starts, is that the world, the external world, will start to resist you. So in my case, when I was trying to save my relationship, for example, I would try to talk differently, ask more questions. And the first thing my partner said to me was, "Why do you sound like that? Why do you sound so fake? Stop it. Stop sounding so fake. I'm not going to fall for this ruse that you have." And for you right now, whenever you're trying to change your behavior, you're trying to change the way you talk, maybe you ask more questions again, your partner is going to resist you. She might say, "Hey, stop talking like that. Stop trying to convince me that I can change my mind." She's going to resist you in many different ways, as we'll talk about later. But the point here is that as soon as you try to change your behavior, people will misunderstand your intentions of why you want to change. And so this external resistance forms, this very strong external resistance forms usually. Now, when you have this external resistance and you don't have a solid mindset for you to be able to process that resistance, that's when the external resistance usually leads to internal doubt, internal resistance. So in this case, if I look back in my relationship, whenever my partner says, "Why do you sound like a therapist?" I'm going to start to think to myself, "Ooh, should I keep doing this? Is this the right thing to do? Should I keep going? I don't know." You start to have this internal doubt that whatever you do is maybe not working, is maybe not going to go anywhere. The same thing for you. You might be changing right now and your partner says, "There's nothing you can do to change. All the things you're doing right now, I can see through that manipulation. I don't care about it." And you might be tempted to back down as well. You doubt yourself. And is it going somewhere? Am I doing the right thing? Should I keep doing the same things over and over again? I don't know. And this brings us to the last stage of the paradox of change, in that this is when people give up. This is when people slow down. When this internal doubt becomes strong enough, that's when people back down from their approach, whatever changes they have. So here's the paradox summarized. Everyone knows that they need and want to become someone different to get the life that they want. But the problem is that as soon as they try to become someone different, they get this external resistance, which turns to internal doubt, and they realize that they can't. And this is why some people can never really change in their life. They can never really break through in their relationship in this case, or sometimes even in their careers, in their life in general. And the thing about this paradox of change you need to understand too, is that if you are on a brink of a divorce right now, this will 100% happen. This is inevitable. You cannot avoid this. And I repeat, you cannot avoid this no matter how hard you try. No matter how hard you try to ignore the fact that it exists, this will always happen to you. And it's a very good reason why it happens to you. And to understand that, we have to understand the key ingredients to building trust. So we discussed this about 4 videos ago, I think, where we talked about the fact that it's not about the obvious things you do, but about the subtle things. So it's not about the things you do, the words you say, to try to get your partner to believe your changes here, but she believes your changes when she can see your changes through the subtle micro expressions, the subtle microtones that you have. The subtle microtones and the subtle micro expressions are the ones that are hard to fake, but the words you say can be easy to fake. You can get some scripts off of YouTube, off of some article, and fake the things you say, but you cannot fake your micro expressions, your microtones. The second thing we talked about was that it's not about the plan, but the unplanned. So your partner also knows here that if you have time to plan a conversation, then it's very, very easy to fake that. And it's hard to build trust if she knows what you say is planned. But if she can throw you a lot of curveballs, left and right here, and you can catch those curveballs and dance around it, she knows that that's really hard to fake. So what you do during the unplanned stuff is going to make her either trust you more or not trust her more. But that's going to be the tipping point, what you do in the moments that are unplanned. It's also not about the easy, but about the hard. It's easy to fake doing the right things when things are easy, when there's no temptations present, when there's hope, when there's every reason for you to do the right things. But where your intentions really show, your real self really show, is what you do when things are hard, when there are temptations present, when there is no reason for you to keep going, when there is no reason for you to be nice and do the right things. That's when your intentions will really show you. So again, what you do when it's easy is easy to fake, but what you do when it's hard, it's really difficult to fake. And finally, it's not just about being right some of the time, but it's also about being right and also being consistent. It's hard to fake being right and consistent all the time, but it's easy to fake just being right sometimes. Now, these are really the 4 key ingredients that you need if you want to build trust in someone. In this case, if you're trying to build trust in your partner that you have changed, that you are changing, you're going to change, and so on, you need to be able to show your changes through the things that we talk about here. So again, going back to the point here that The paradox of change that you're going to face is going to be inevitable. It will happen because your partner will make it hard for you. And she makes it hard for you not because she's an asshole or whatever it is, but she needs to subconsciously make sure here that you are who you say you are, that you actually mean your promises, etc. She needs to know that your changes here cannot possibly be faked. And the reason why she does this is because she has trusted you many different times in the past. The reason why she's so dead set on divorce now is because usually, many times she's been burned over and over again. And then, so now she's saying, I'm dead set on this divorce because I do not want to bring myself to trust you anymore. If I bring myself to trust you one more time and I get burned, I don't know how to forgive myself on that. And you would feel the same as well, right? So this is not just her issue, her problem. This is just a human nature as well. And this resistance that she gives you to make it hard for you will come up in many different forms. She's gonna say things that just will catch you really off guard, like, how could she say that to me? But she's gonna share with you these curveballs, these tough truths, because she wants to see again what you do when things are hard, what you do when things are unplanned, what you do, the subtle things you do, your micro-expression, microtones when things are difficult. She wants to see again whether you can be consistent. She wants to test you because she needs to see indications of whether your changes are real or fake. She might be giving you intense resistance here. So she might be stonewalling, gaslighting, doing all the things that you're not supposed to do in relationships often. And she might even take away all hope. She might tell you all those things earlier like, there's nothing you can do to change. My mind is already dead set. And she does all these things again because she wants to see, what do you do? What do you do when hope is taken away? What do you do when things are really, really hard? Are you going to revert back to your old self here, or are you going to be staying in your new self? And these tests, they happen all the time. And if I look at, the thousands of clients that I have in my program right now, and I look at their journeys, and when is the tipping point? When their partner usually starts to believe them, starts to trust them, and starts to change their mind about their changes, them, and so on in the future, is usually when their partner has taken away all hope, when it's given them no reason to keep going, to keep changing, to keep being their new self. And it's at that point when their partner can really see, okay, is my partner doing this because he wants to manipulate me? Is he doing this as a phase, as a diet, as a temporary thing, or is this really a lifestyle? If you can stay steadfast, strong in your new self, in the right processes, when hope is taken away from you, that tells your partner everything she needs to know. That tells your partner that there's no freaking way this guy can be faking this stuff. I've taken away all the reasons that he has to fake it. I cannot see it. He's still headstrong. He's still strong in his new self. That's when their minds begin to change. So when you look at this urgency illusion, or the illusion of the fast and external mindset, you can start to see why this is very, very toxic. Because number one, you're only interested again in learning the short-term tactics. You're not interested in a deeper change that you can experience. And none of these things will ever work. None of these tactics will ever work. Because again, your partner knows that these tactics that you do are the ones that are easy to fake. The ones that are hard to fake are the ones that take a long time. The ones that are so deep within that they affect you on your micro expressions, microtones level. And if you have this faster external mind, if you are fooled by this urgency illusion, what you'll do is when you get this resistance, when you get the hope taken away, you will start to feel hopeless, demotivated, and give up yourself. You will slow down, you will give up, and when you do give up, when you do slow down, when you back down from your approach here, that will tell her all she needs to know. That will tell her again that you don't actually know what you're doing. You don't actually have any conviction behind what you're doing. You're just saying all these promises because you know you're supposed to say it. Once you get resistance, when you get some tough moments, you crumble, you back down. Where's the conviction? Where's the realness? Where's the strength? It shows your partner here that you're not doing this because you believe this to be valuable and you want to make this a lifestyle, but you're only doing this because you see it as a diet, as a fad, as a phase that you do, just to get your partner back. And she's afraid here that once she gets back to you, you will go back to your old self, that your motivation for bettering yourself and embracing this new lifestyle is really tethered to your outcome, to the things around you, to your circumstance. And once she can feel that, once she can sense that, trust goes down even more. Trust gets destroyed even more. And it's going to be even harder for you to regain her trust in the future. And what's funny too is that when people say that they have this urgency mindset, I need to make something happen now, I need to make my partner see my changes now, they think they have changed, but really the fact that you're having this urgency mindset means that you haven't really changed in the right ways. Now we established that, when you're in a brink of a divorce here, you're weeks away from a divorce, that's all the more reason not to look for shortcuts, but all the more reason to identify, find, and stick to the right processes. So what are the right processes here? There's 3 layers. Again, if you've joined my masterclass, you will know these 3 layers. Number 1 is what we call the frameworks, or this is what allows you to become a dancer in conversations, to dance around resistances, tough truths, difficult conversations, and so on. Then layer number 2 is about building a thriving mindset. So this is what we call the bulletproof mindset. And the final layer here is about what we call identity shifting. And once you have shifted your identity to embrace these frameworks, these mindsets, that's when you can really be consistent in whatever it is you're doing. And when you will start to operate from this internal state of conviction that doesn't get swayed easily by external resistances. And you can break through that paradox of change once again. When people say they're bettering themselves, they always say, oh, I work out, I lost weight. It doesn't count, guys. What counts is these 3 layers of changes. That's it. And another shift that you need to make in your mindset here is the difference between the obvious and the subtle again. So if you look at these 3 layers, you start with the frameworks up top, then you have mindsets and also identity shifting. Most people look at these frameworks and they only pay attention to those frameworks because this is the part that is fast. It seems relatively easy to learn and it's visible. But the top part that are obvious here are the ones that are really easy to fake. And your partner knows this and you should know this as well. It's really easy to fake this. And because it's easy to fake, again, it's the least effective. And the fast and external minds tend to obsess about this stuff. They tend to only want to learn about this stuff. But if you go deeper into the identity shifting portion, you start to see that only very few people actually care about this, care about the internal shifts, the internal identity shifts. Because again, these seem very slow. It's hard to change your identity. It takes 6 months to a year for our clients to do so. It's also hard to do so. It's also subtle. You can't readily see it. And so when you make your changes, it's not like the world will notice your changes right away. It might take a while for them to notice your changes. But again, this is the most important stuff because this stuff is the one that is hard to fake. It's really impossible to fake the deeper stuff, this more subtle stuff. And because it's hard to fake, it's going to be a lot more effective as well. Here, the next shift that I need you to make here is that you need to start valuing the internal shifts more than the external stuff. Because again, the internal shifts will be what brings out the right behavior during the subtle moments when things are hard. And it's what allows you to be consistent through curveballs left and right. And that's the part that's going to really count. That's the part that's going to really make your partner change her mind. Now, you might be saying again, but Jeff, my divorce is next week. What am I supposed to do now again? I can't do these processes because this is going to take 6 months. So a few questions for you here. Do you really think that you still can chase the rainbow? You've been chasing a rainbow for probably the last 6 months, the last year. Has it worked? It hasn't. And why were you chasing the rainbow for the last 6 months to a year? Because you've been feeling this sense of urgency for a long time. And you've been letting this sense of urgency lie to you and give you this illusion that you're actually trying to find answers. But all you've been doing, I hate to break it to you, is you've been spending this whole time trying to chase a rainbow and running around in circles, and you haven't moved an inch. So now you're presented with the same option. Now the urgency illusion is coming knocking at your door. Are you gonna fall into its lie again? Or are you gonna finally break free and actually start doing something different? Number 2, do you really think that your situation is still that unique? Again, we enroll close to 1,000 people every single year. Everybody starts by thinking that a situation is unique. Why? Because they don't seek my help until their situation is a breaking point, at the brink of a divorce, separation, whatever it is. Everyone thinks it's unique. But once they join the program, they realize that no, nothing is really unique. That if you think your situation is unique, it's usually because you don't really understand the principles behind relationships, behind what makes a successful relationship, self-growth, and so on. And of all the thousands that we have in the group, many of them, many of them succeed. Number 3, do you really think that a divorce is still the end? At the end of the day, your partner wants to be with someone who can make her happy, who can make her feel safe, who can make her feel validated, who can resolve conflicts with, to grow with, and so on. And if you take 3 months, 6 months, a year to eventually become that person, guess what? she's gonna realize here that it's very hard to find someone else that can do that. So if you grow yourself in the right ways, like we see with a lot of our clients, some people have been divorced. A lot of people have been divorced for over a year sometimes, and their partner comes back to them. At the end of the day, it's impossible to resist internal, genuine changes. But as long as you keep this mindset of wanting short-term tactics, you're going to continue pushing her away. And finally here, what you do will tell her all she needs to know. Are you going to finally learn your lesson and be more patient? Make this genuine changes? Or are you going to keep following the same pattern of having these tactical changes? If you choose to have these tactical changes, that will tell her all she needs to know about your motivation, everything like that. But if you choose to focus on your internal change and make sure that whatever promise you make is genuine, that will also tell her all she needs to know. Again, after you answer these questions, what choice do you have? Really, you have only one. It all goes back to, no matter what happens here, you have to go back to the inner process, the subtle stuff, the deeper stuff, to really make your changes genuine, real, permanent, strong. And only then can you even have a hope of reconciling in your relationship. So these 3 layers of changes and the internal shifts that we talked about, and being able to finally make their changes so deep and genuine that they eventually reconcile with their partner despite having been divorced, despite having been broken up, despite the fact that there may be other people in the picture, that's something that I've really, really mastered. So if you want to learn more about these processes, then you can join me in my free masterclass on the 5 proven steps to rebuilding your relationship from the ground up. In that masterclass, I'll show you the exact steps that all my clients have used to access the 3 layers of changes and save their marriage that is on the brink of destruction right now. And if you want to join that masterclass, or if you want to apply for the Relationship Revival program that we have, you can do so by clicking the link above my head or also down below in this video as well. And at the end of that masterclass, basically, you'll be given an opportunity to apply for the program if you want to. And if you want to download a free guide with some of the frameworks that you can use to dance around in conversations a bit better, then you can also download the guide I have for you above my head or also down below this video. And finally, if you want to join a free community where you can ask your questions and have a member of my team respond to you, then be sure to join my free Facebook group down below this video. In the meantime, leave a comment below with your thoughts, comments, and questions around this video. I would love to hear from you. And if you found this video eye-opening and helpful, like it and subscribe to this channel for more content like this one. And like the channel as well because it really helps the channel out. In the meantime, I'll leave you with these 2 other videos with more knowledge, with more skills on how to design a thriving relationship. For now, I'll see you in the next video.